Hello there, my name is Dean, also known as Dean Magpie. This video is going to be a little bit unusual one today. I haven't filmed myself or done any, I suppose, vlogs in a very long time, so please bear with me while I find my footing in the world of content creation again. Today's going to be split into two parts. The first is going to be an announcement. The second is going to be about, I suppose, my creative journey and where I want to go from there. So thank you for bearing with me and enjoy this video. Three years ago, my friend Ethan and I worked on a short film together to accompany his album that he had been working on called Amon the Stars. When he approached me, we spent a long time talking about the narrative elements of the project, what his vision was, and in a way what I sort of saw through the music that he was sharing with me. And we ultimately decided to, with the time that we had, work on something a little shorter, more concise, that would give us the opportunity to showcase both of our creative abilities in a high quality manner. And that came together in a short animation called Terra Firma. Terra Firma was an accompaniment of the song of its same name, the beginning of the album, which essentially tells a story of an audio voyage, pun intended, among the stars. I spent the next few months focusing on concept art, storyboarding, and then I ultimately animated the short and got it ready for release. Ethan did a wonderful live stream where he went through the rest of the narrative of the project, and despite the fact that I nor he had the time to work on something fully complete visually, it was great. We were really proud of what we'd achieved. So much so that we had a discussion and I ended up submitting the film to a number of film festivals, and we got picked up by a wonderful film festival based in Paris called the Fantasy Film Festival. They invited us to go there to show our film on the big screen. I mean, what the hell? How could you say no? Naturally, Ethan and I had an absolute blast. We went to as many cultural sites as we could before the day of the event, and the trip was made only the better when on the final day they announced the winning results, and we had been given the Choice Award by a Night of Misfit Films festival. We were invited to go to Arizona to show our work, but due to financial constraints we couldn't make the journey, and I still kick myself about that to this day. But fast forward to a few months ago, Ethan reached out to me and explained that he'd been working on a sequel album to the previous one that he'd made, and naturally when he asked me to collaborate, I said yes. See, I've always felt like I had unfinished business with that project, because it was good, yes, but it didn't showcase the entire story of what happened, and I hate to see a narrative unfinished. Cut to a few weeks ago when Ethan called me while I was at work and told me that we had indeed received some funding. I cannot say thank you enough to Youth Music and the Next Gen Fund for supporting us in this process. We're making a film, baby! Now, I've had to be realistic about this in conversations with Ethan, because I'm working 5 days a week, and I did ask myself, Dean, how are you going to make a full feature-length animated movie in that time that you have between days at work? Following some discussion, we've decided that our animated film is going to be 10 to 12 minutes long. I'm going to aim for 15 because I'm an overachiever. And we're going to tell the story of Among Strange Worlds, which will be an audio, visual narrative screenplay written by Ethan and myself. We've started the process of writing the screenplay together based on transforming his original pitch, and I've been doing some material experimentations that would elevate the stylistic intentions and setting of the story. We've also begun the initial stages of talking about setting up a fundraiser so that we can dedicate more time and efforts to this project. As of yet, we've not fully set it up, but we intend to do so over the next few months in between working on the film. Consider this a pitch with the intentions of creating a proper and final outcome in the coming years. So here we are. We're in the process of writing and producing a film, and I feel like I am this much closer to becoming the animator that I dreamed of being when I was a child. Now that I've announced this wonderful project to you guys, I'd like to move on to part 2 of this video, where I talk about my journey as a creative in relation to my mental health. I've worked on some really cool projects and art pieces since completing Terra Firma with Ethan, but something that seems to have eluded me time and time again in that process has been the pride and joy that come with a job well done. Call it imposter syndrome, call it undiagnosed ADHD or depression, I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that I've struggled to uphold my creative voice online because I've not stuck to a single medium, that and the mental health kerfuffle that I've not been able to abate. So I feel like an imposter. I've worked in so many formats, ranging from animation and illustration to magazines and academic projects for my undergraduate and master's degrees that I did with others. Because I'd worked in so many different mediums, I'd gotten it into my head that I came across as someone who was dabbling in a number of different departments, rather than someone with a broader set of skills that they could share. Because of that, it's led me to feel like I don't have the validity to call myself a proper artist, or that I have a creative leg to stand on. And it's turned me into a serial content and account deleter. And to my friends, my peers, and my collaborators, I would like to apologise for not preserving our collaborations alongside your art online. These things have weighed on me continuously over the years, but I need to accept that the only way to fix this is by just accepting and loving it all wholeheartedly, no matter how chaotic and messy my process is. And maybe that's just my creative voice or brand at the end of it all. Someone who works in many mediums, explores many topics, and just has to learn to participate in this with confidence. Undoubtedly, I will continue to feel like an imposter for a number of years to come. I didn't study animation or fine art at university, so I feel like an outsider to the creative industry. And what a silly thing to believe, because surely all of my experiences just serve to enrich the person that I am. I just hope that by dedicating myself to this channel, I can really start to believe that myself. So, how do I intend to remedy this? Well, firstly, I want to keep my social media presence on the smaller side. I'd like to focus on YouTube and Instagram as my main platforms and avoid spreading myself thin. I'm doing this to reduce the stress that I put on myself and to, in the spirit of sharing it all, find ways to translate what I'm working on into shorter posts or longer videos that document things more cohesively. This is a promise to myself that I will not be hiding away anymore. So I'll be experimenting with style and formatting in my videos and posts, and I'm hoping that this will come together cohesively over time. Going forward, and with the permission of collaborators, I would also like to upload and talk about the projects that we have worked on together in the past. This would be in the spirit of preserving the work that we did together, so you would see that be it on YouTube or on a separate website. Secondly, I'd like to promise that my content is going to be diverse. As a digital netizen, it makes sense that I have interests outside of my craft, such as video games like Deltarune, or movies like Iron Lung. So I'll be experimenting with style and formatting in my videos and posts, but expect a variety of subjects that I'd like to talk about as well. I'd like to aim to upload a long form video at least once a month to YouTube so that I can share what I've been producing whilst talking about these different subjects. And I think the last thing I need to do is reshape that dream I once had as a child. I was obsessed with the idea of being an animator, a storyteller, a film director. See, my master's degree did a wonderful job of showing me that one of the things I cherish most is actually working with people. And as a creative, I love working in lots of different mediums. I suppose now it comes down to the merit of showing that I can do this variety of things. I haven't breached the creative industry the same way a lot of my peers have, and that has been eating away at me for a long time. But man, there's only so much eating you can do until you get a tummy ache. So to finish this strange little metaphor, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to drink my tea, and I'm actually going to revel in the enjoyment of working in so many different ways. And at the end of this all, I hope to show that despite all of the negativity that likes to crawl around and rot my brain, I do love everything that I work on, and I've loved every single person that I've worked on these things with. I just need to learn to navigate everything that's going on upstairs and find a good way of translating that to everybody. I genuinely can't wait to show Among Strange Worlds to all of you. The screenplay is going really well, and I think we have something really cool here. In the spirit of not making this video too long, I'd like to direct you to Ethan McInerney's socials. He's a fantastic composer and a wonderful performer and a longtime friend of mine. And Ethan, I know you're going to watch this. I am genuinely so excited for everybody to see what we do together. And for myself, thank you for watching. It's been Dean. I have yet to decide whether I call myself an artist, an animator, or anything else. But here we are, and I look forward to seeing you next time.